Hi everyone, it's James here from Pro Tools Expert, and Rich from Create Pro has joined me.
Hello.
Down in the shed. This is the big one.
Very big.
This is the mega test. I think we've been going on about this since about Christmas, I think.
Yeah. This has been a while in the making.
Big thank you to the guys at Universal Audio, mainly Amanda, for helping us put this together, and the guys at Cubix Corporation. Eric, thank you. This is just ridiculous. We try and do tests that no one else can do, the real world stuff that, you know, money can't buy tests.
Yeah, the stuff that you're never going to do, but we're going to do it.
Yeah. So we've done it. Let's just set the scene. You've got a Mac Pro. I have a Mac Pro. A lot of them are out there.
Yep.
You're doing a fabulous job of keeping the world's Mac Pros going.
Keeping you all happy, yes.
So thanks for that. So what we've done is we've hooked up a Cubix chassis. Now, as we rattle on through this, there'll be lots of lovely B-roll that I've shot as I've put this system together.
Shall I explain what a Cubix is?
Please do.
So a Cubix is a PCI expansion chassis. So what that means in English, in the Mac Pro or a PC, you've got your PCI slots, which are housing your HDX cards, graphics cards, UAD cards, so on and so forth. We run out of those. You managed to run out of them with a plethora of kit in this room. So
no, not me. Surely not.
So what this chassis does is expand those slots. PCIe slots work on different sizing. So you have an X16, you have an X8, and you have an X4. It goes down to X2, but the Mac Pro only goes to X4. It will get one of the 16 slots and split it into 4 slots. UAD cards, good example, are X4. So it's going to give you another. It's going to give you another 3 because it uses a host card that goes into the Mac Pro. So that's 3 more UAD cards. Which, when we're talking about octos, which is what we've got, courtesy of UA, that's a lot.
So let's set the scene. We have 2 UAD Octo cards in the Mac Pro.
Yes.
We have the graphics card, which although it isn't technically one of the slots, it is using one of the slots, but you need a graphics card, so you're always going to lose one slot to your graphics card.
Yeah.
The third available slot inside the Mac Pro is being taken up by the Cubix PCI link.
Yep.
PCI. So basically, as you said, we're cutting an X16 into 4 times 4 slots.
Yes.
Now, in the chassis, in the Cubix chassis, we have another 4 Octo cards. Now, that's 6 UAD Octos, giving us 48 UAD DSP Sharc chips.
Yep.
Which is quite a lot.
Mental.
It's ridiculous. Now, we're going to use the same session as we use for all our power tests, which is 96K, 24-bit. The audio that we have 128 channels of. Now, 128 channels is because where we max out normally with HDX. Has to be said, because of using all the available slots for our Octo cards, we're not running this HDX.
So the latency that we're going to run in Pro Tools is going to be 512.
512 buffer size.
Yeah, because of, I suppose, in a real life situation, maybe you wouldn't have 96 channels tracking of...
No.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes maybe, but I think what we found is it will stumble a bit when we start bringing that latency down. So, you know,
but for
we're looking at
exactly.
this as a virtual analog console, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to achieve.
So it's a mix session, 512 buffer size,
yes,
96K, 24-bit. Results have been pleasurable,
yes,
have been pleasing so far.
Yes.
And interestingly, if you look at the numbers that are available on the Pro Tools Expert site and also on UA's site,
yeah,
we found it tallies up.
Yeah, I mean, it just reminds me back of TDM days where, you know, the computer wasn't powerful enough to run more than 2 soft synths. And so you'd buy a mix system because it said you're going to get 48 tracks of audio, and that's what you get, wouldn't you? It would hit that. Any more than that, the system would fall over, but it would hit that. You could depend on it. And it feels like UA have done the same thing. It feels that they've given us something that we can count on, and all that we're doing is just creating the biggest one you could ever possibly have.
Some would say overkill.
No.
No, never.
No.
So let's have a look at the session that we've created. That we haven't created. It's the standard power test, and let's show you some of the different configurations.
Yes.
We're not going to try and do every possible combination of UA plugins. We would be here till about next 2018.
We'll be here for a while.
Yeah. But we're going to try and get as close using some of the most thirsty and some of the most lean UA plugins to maxing out this system, just to show you what you can get. So let's just explain what we've got set up on this here screen. So we have our normal system usage window showing our many cores, thanks to this little company in Ipswich. We have our UAD control panel showing our 6 lovely octos, and it's fully unloaded at the moment.
Fully unloaded.
And we also have the DSP, PGM, and the memory meter.
Yep.
Did we find out what that meant?
No.
Fair enough. The important one is the DSP, really, from our point of view.
Yeah.
Now we have here the mega session, and I can show you. We're actually running at 1024 samples. We can run at 512. It doesn't really matter.
Yep.
And I can also then go in and show you the session setup is 24-bit 96K. We like that. Now, bear in mind, of course, theoretically, if you're running at 48K, you'll get double the resources.
Yep.
So we have 128 audio channels. Now you'll see they change colour at 95. 95 is actually channel 96 because we haven't counted 1 as 1, that's counted as 0 effectively.
Yep.
So we've changed colour, so I can tell you where 96 is because we know the numbers sometimes work out in that way favour. So we have the list from UA of all their theoretically most thirsty plugins, and on our site we've obviously put them together in order.
So what's our top 3?
So the top 3 theoretically most thirsty are the Neve 1073 preamp and EQ, the Manley Massive Passive, and the UA 610A tube preamp and EQ. Let's start with theoretically the daddy, and let's put 96 Universal Audio Neve 1073s up.
There's a few quid there.
Just a couple, and away it goes. Now, we may choose to jump in and out of this because, quite frankly, it'll be a bit boring. But what's interesting is watching the DSP.
I think we can do the first one.
Yeah, the
Come
DSP.
on, we can't be the only 2 people excited by this, so it's. But you can see it's just bouncing from one chip to another. Absolutely splendid. You know, it's load balancing. This is what we want. It's using, you know, it's not all about throwing everything on one chip and then saying, right, that's maxed out, let's go to the next. That's not efficient. So doing it this way, load balancing.
So there's our...
And it's leaving headroom on everything, you know.
And then it jumps back to the top. And it just works through. It seems to work through a bit quicker second time around.
Yeah.
I guess that's just something that it does.
Yeah.
Clever. I like that.
So what was that? That was, I don't know, 30 seconds, 40 seconds for 96 channels. Yeah.
Now what's interesting is if I try and put another one on. Where are we? Neve 1073 mono. It panics.
Yeah.
So we've kind of done a little bit of pre-testing on this, but still, 96 tracks of Neve preamp and EQ.
It's doing what it says on the tin, though, isn't it? I mean, we did the basic math. It's not rocket science, and we said that's what it should give us, and it's given us it.
Yeah, I mean that's impressive in anybody's language.
Yeah,
that's a console.
Yeah.
Now I think the interesting one for me. Did I mention I went to France and did mix with the masters?
You did.
I might
Yes,
have mentioned that.
Yeah, just
at some point.
10 or 9 times.
Yeah. What's interesting is if you do genuinely want to mix on a console, say a 96 channel Neve.
I've got 2 indoors.
RS. And again, it's loading up and we're going to watch it go across. Now, because this is a full channel strip, you're getting everything. You're getting the preamp, the EQ, the compressor, the gate, the filters.
Yeah. Led Zeppelin style going on here.
I'd be happy to mix across a 96 channel console. In fact, I'd be positively ecstatic.
Yeah.
I think the last few sessions I've done have been no more than 24, maybe 36 channels.
Yeah, exactly. So even if we was looking at half the amount of cards, you know, don't get me wrong, these cards aren't cheap, but I think your electricity bill's a bit less, isn't it?
Yes. Now, that said, the chassis, it's not thirsty, but the power supply in it is bomb-proof. These things are
1250 watt power supply. They do a more high spec power supply. We don't need it. One thing we did notice, there is a bit of audible noise. Cubix do make a quieter version. This is just a demo unit that we've got. They do make a quieter one. You know, you've got everything but a control, you know, like a little control room in here. And, you know, it's not awful, but I'm sure a lot of people would say that's too loud for me.
When I was mixing this week, I did unplug it and bypass it purely because it's not. We're not talking aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah, I don't know whether these mics are picking that up at all, but they do a quiet version. So any of you that do say, you know, that's no good, can't use that in a pro environment, they do one that's going to work. But
it is military spec. It's bomb-proof.
They do stuff for the military, so
yeah,
we will get some screen shots of it or something because yeah, it's brilliant.
It is and the thing was,
it looks like UA built it.
Yeah, it was a doddle. There was no drivers. There was no grief. To be fair, I put it together, put the cards in.
Yeah.
I haven't registered. I had to register the system, but I haven't registered the plugins because, quite frankly, it didn't work out that we had time with stuff. But we're running on the 14-day trial, which is exactly the same as using the real thing.
Yep.
And I've got 96 channels of Neve 88 RS. And again, if we try and put the last one in, now because
I was going to say this is running lower.
This one is lower on the list, isn't it? This one's quite a lot lower on the list. Did we?
I think.
Neve 88 RS. No. It's still waxed out at 96.
Okay.
But come on,
I want 100.
I wish I had a 96 channel console. That's another discussion.
Yeah.
I wish there was anything that was 96 tracks that was big enough to warrant it. But you know, you've got the power, and if we want to prove to the point that we can actually run it, it's that session. Audio is actually running through.
Yeah.
It's tone with an edit every second with automation.
Yeah.
The system is not panicking.
No. I mean, I think what's great about this is this is a guaranteed mix system. So now on top of that, all of this CPU power, all of these 12 cores, 24 threads, we could happily be sitting there throwing native instruments, contact, sample libraries, whatever you wanted at the system, and it would not impact any of these channel strips or anything UA. And I think that is in itself genius. I mean, it's great. You know, everyone bangs on about UA stuff all the time now. They are some of the best plugins, and this is excessive, but it's proving the point.
Oh, I think this is beyond excessive.
But it's proving the point that, you know, the virtual analog console is possible. And
it's doable.
And if we're talking about touchscreens, you know, adding that into the mix, no pun intended, is quite literally, you know, it's a new dawn.
Yeah, I mean, we're effectively, this is our console. This is our real world analog console. Now, the thing we know that UA do that is their forte is the recreations of this classic vintage gear.
Yeah.
Okay, an 88 RS is not necessarily classed as vintage. I think they were 92, 93 when they came out. But still, not everyone's got one. Not even me, and I've got most things.
Yeah. Well, obviously the tape emulations, you know, nobody's really got any of those tapes apart from a handful. So just to run 60 of those, if that's your bag,
yeah,
you know, it is phenomenal.
60 buses or 60 stems. Oh no, what a disaster, only 60. Okay, so there's our channel strips. That's been fairly successful.
Yes.
Now let's knock those off, he says. Boom, there they go. And we've got, I think equally impressive is the way it's dropping them as well.
Yeah,
it's not hanging up, it's not going, oh no, DSP clear.
It's smooth. It's smooth as butter, isn't it?
It's
it really
just
is.
working in a system that not even UA have tested.
Yeah. This is a world first, people.
Yeah. So let's have a look at our list of many plugins. Let's try the Fatso. Let's try something. Let's go the whole hog. Now we're going to do this because we know it works.
Yeah.
We're now installing, instantiating. Call it what you will. 128 plugins. Fatso Jr. There we go. Boom. And it's just going to sit there and it's going to do its thing.
Quite
and
happily.
again, because it's not such a thirsty, this is well down the list of stuff that is on the power hungry side of things. I think this is like 4th from the bottom. I mean, how many, maybe we'll try it in a minute, how many soft tube amp rooms, A, do you need, and B, is sensible to put on a session? But I mean, this is racing through it. Once it's gone around the first cycle, it really does race through.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any kind of cache or something that. I mean, it seems to get faster each time, doesn't it? There you go.
Ridiculous. And just to prove point, it plays back
straight off the bat.
The session is utterly.
There's no lag, is there? I mean, obviously you can't hear anything at the moment, so we could be completely lying to you, and this could just be sitting milliseconds behind. But
we're not faking it.
But we're going to do a session, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're going to do a session. We're going to show this working in real time with fabulous audio.
It's ridiculous. Now, one of the plugins that I actually thought was more thirsty than it actually is the Ocean Way. Because I could be completely making this up. There is an element of convolution to it.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's a sampled reverb. So let's bring in Universal Audio MN Ocean Way. Again, we're going to use mono purely because it's a fairer test. Everything we've used up until now has been mono.
Yeah.
And it's going to go away and start doing it. Now, this one we probably will cut out some of the load because it's definitely doing something.
Well, it'll be loading the plugin via UAD and then pulling in the sample stroke preset from the Mac. So, yeah, it may just chug along a little bit.
It's a bit slower, but hey, you know.
Sorry, this one's 3 minutes.
Oh no.
You couldn't even turn the hardware on that quickly, could you?
No.
Supermarket sweep running around.
Well, also
studio trying to turn on 96 units.
But also the ridiculous thing would be there aren't 96 Ocean Ways.
No.
You've got 3 rooms at best.
Yeah.
And you've only got one of the big room. It does seem interesting that 96K and 96 channels. That could just be complete
coincidence.
But you know, it's a sensible number. Both of those are sensible numbers in the industry as we are. 96K for Blu-ray stuff, 96 channels.
96 channels, yeah.
So there is 96 Ocean Ways, and we're not teasing it. We are running it flat out.
Yeah.
You can't get
100%, but doing what it needs to do.
Yeah.
Which is great. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My Gast has never been so flabbered. And for those of you who aren't in England, look it up. Okay, there's one more I want to try.
Yep.
I want to try, as we're trying, say, ridiculousness, I want to try another channel strip. Because, I mean, I think as we've worked out, this is where this really comes into itself.
This is where it's not completely mental.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to try...
I have no idea what the largest session ever done by any of those classic, you know, rock bands back in the day on obscenely large desks were, but they had whatever they wanted, didn't they? You know, one of those Led Zeppelin sessions, they would have whatever they wanted sitting on the desk, and who knows how many mics they had running in. And so maybe this isn't completely mental.
No. So we haven't got a G Series channel strip, but we have got an E Series SSL. It's almost like we plan these things sometimes, isn't it? Between posts about free E Series consoles, and not that we've got a free E Series to give away, and it's mine if one does come up. You'd think we plan.
And you are
these
plugged
things
directly into the grid.
Yes, I would need to be. But this is quick. I mean, this is...
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we're going to get more than 96. We're going to get a lot more than 96. We haven't even hit the... Hang on, what card have we got up to? We've hit the 4th card.
Right. And they're sitting on 30-odd%.
Okay, well, let's just do...
DSP meter is sitting on 23.
It's ticking there. So, let's do the other 128. Now, I know... Okay, I think that this is a slightly older plugin.
Yes, yeah, this is an older plugin, isn't it?
So, it's not one of the new
ones. But still an amazing plugin used by... You know,
and if you want
shed load of people.
And if you want to sound like you're running on an SSL without having an SSL, you're going to need...
There you go.
Okay, so have we hit the last card? Yes, but we've still got 5 chips untouched.
And DSP is on 31%.
Well, let's put the amp room on it. Let's put the soft tube amp room on every channel, because that is one of their lowest... I've got to say, according to the chart, one of the lowest rated ones, power rated ones. So Universal Audio, soft tube, what was it? Vintage amp room, apparently mono.
I always wanted just one Culture of Ultra, so it'd be good to see how many.
Now, I like the amp room plugin. I think it's really, really cool. I like the bass amp room as well.
I haven't heard it at all, I'll be honest.
But I'm just doing this as a curiosity of power, really, rather than...
Yeah.
Are we going to hit... Yeah, I think we're going to run out of...
Oh, and run out of juice.
Oh, no. We won't be able to run 1 billion plugins.
Oh,
go on! Go on!
Yeah.
Yes! Oh, we've got 6% to spare.
Yeah, there you go.
128 channels with 2 plugins on.
Yeah. So full-blown SSL E channel strip.
With effects.
Yeah.
And the ridiculous thing is, it'll just drop out like that as well.
Yeah.
And it drops
no lag.
Okay, I appreciate this sound. This, potentially would sound awful, but we're trying this for you.
Yes, all for you.
So, what was it we just said? We just said we want to try... the Manley is supposed to be quite heavy duty, isn't it?
It's supposed to be quite manly.
Oh, there we go. Right.
Once again, I'd like just one of them.
Yes.
If you're listening, Manley.
Yeah. Massive Passive.
This is a monster, isn't it?
Yeah, we're using the mono version again.
Used by so many people, and they're like, I run a few of them, and that's it on my, duo or quad.
and it was quick as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But we are at 85%. We're not going to get many more than that.
Yeah.
We've hit.
Yeah.
Now I think because of this load balancing thing, I'm not sure if they can split across chips, and I think that's where the stability comes from.
Yeah, possibly.
Because if we try and put another one on,
yeah,
even though we've got
some room,
some of percent, I bet we can put something small, but I bet we can't.
Yeah, maybe you need to actually have the amount of space on the chip for that plug-in.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what it's doing, which makes sense. And once again, that is intelligent load balancing.
I'm happy with that because it works.
Yeah.
Because it just works.
Well, we've only got about another 200 plugins to go.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a break, probably, and have some lunch, maybe.
Yep.
And I'm going to mix with nothing but the UA plugins. And we're going to do it sensibly. We're not going to be ridiculous. So we'll see you shortly for the real life session, rather than this kind of theoretical load test.
Rather than us just geeking out, basically.
What's wrong with that?
No, nothing. I'm thoroughly enjoying myself.